What's good, y'all? I'm Stats with Evan, and I'm here to give you my predictions for all 14 games on Week 10 of the NFL slate. As always, these predictions are completely, totally, and 100% unbiased. That means I'm not basing these off which teams or players I like better. I'm just basing these off which team I think has a better chance of winning this game, this week. That's it. With that being said, let's get into it. As always, we start with the Thursday night game. This week, we got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Tennessee Titans. Now, this ain't your typical Thursday night game. It's a battle for first in the AFC South. Now, add on, you have the unstoppable force that is Derrick Henry going up against the immovable object that is a Colts rush defense that ranks third in the league. On the other side of the coin is a Colts offense and a Titans defense that have shown sparks this season, but not enough to call either one of them elite. Between the two, however, the Titans defense has proven time and time again that they can get the clutch stops that they need in the fourth quarter, so I'll take Tennessee 24-21 over Indianapolis. And now we move to the 1 o'clock slate. First up, we got the Houston Texans taking on the Cleveland Browns. Now, this has all the signs of being a get-right game for the Browns. Over the bye week, Cleveland lost their playoff spot, and now to get it back, they have to face a Texans team in complete disarray. The biggest mismatch here is a Browns rush offense that ranks 5th in the league, going up against a Texans rush defense that ranks dead last. In conclusion, Cleveland takes it 31-14 over Houston. Up next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Green Bay Packers. Okay, this one's open and shut. The Packers are extending their lead in the NFC North, and now they face a Jaguars team that's riding a 7-game losing streak straight to the bottom of the league. The only edge the Jaguars might have here is that this could be considered a trap game for the Packers since they go to Indianapolis next week. However, I don't think that's going to be anywhere close to enough to give Jacksonville the win, so I'm taking Green Bay 38-17 over Jacksonville. Up next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. Okay, this one actually does have some intrigue to it. And yes, we all know how weak the NFC East is, but the Giants have a chance to flip their division on its head this Sunday. Add on to this, the Giants have actually played their best ball over the last couple weeks, which would make one believe that it's possible. Yes, the Eagles are in first place, and no, their lead is not in danger since they have a 1.5 game lead over Washington, but they barely survived their first encounter with the Giants. For this reason, Philadelphia, put them brooms away. Giants win it 24-20. Up next, we got the Washington football team and the Detroit Lions. Now, these two have a fair amount of similarities between them. Both have been synonymous with losing for a while. Both just got done losing games last week against teams they arguably should have beat, and both are looking at this game as a possible get-back game. Now, with Kenny Galladay's status up in the air for Sunday, the Lions will likely turn to Adrian Peterson for offense, and AP's had this game circled on his calendar ever since the schedule dropped in April. Now, simply put, I trust the Lions a little bit more right now, so I'll go with Detroit 24-21 over Washington. Up next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm like most people. At first, I wrote off the Bucs' performance in New York. I thought, oh, it was just a trap game. They'll play better next week. But then the next week happened and they played the exact same way they played in New York. Now, this week, Tampa doesn't just need to beat the Panthers. They need to beat the Panthers convincingly. At the moment, I don't believe that they can, especially because this looks like another trap game for the Bucs since they got a date with the Rams on the horizon. For these reasons, I'll make this my upset of the week and take Carolina 27-24 over Tampa. Up next, we got the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. On the one hand, this might be the last chance for the Broncos to make a push at a dark horse, no pun intended, playoff spot. But on the other hand, the Raiders have built momentum after stringing together a couple wins in back-to-back weeks, and now they're looking to keep the ball rolling. The Broncos have been an impressive fourth quarter team over the last couple weeks, but now they face a Raiders team that's a perfect 5-0 when they have the lead going into the fourth quarter. I trust the Raiders a little bit more here, so I'll go with Vegas 34-24 over Denver. Next, we got the Los Angeles Chargers and the Miami Dolphins. If you want to see what the next generation of quarterbacks looks like, look no further than South Beach, as Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert are going to light up the scoreboard. Both offenses are pretty entertaining to watch, which is going to make for a very fun game. But the difference is the Dolphins' defense has proven capable of getting the stops they need, bending but not breaking. The Chargers, they haven't. So for this reason, I'm going with Miami 38-28 over LA. Next, we got the Buffalo Bills and the Arizona Cardinals. This one's going to be close, but I think I see where I'm going. The Bills offense got back on track last week, and on the other sideline is a Cardinals team looking to shake off a loss in a winnable game. While, yes, the Cardinals do feature a mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray, the Bills just got done taking out two mobile quarterbacks in a row in Cam Newton and Russell Wilson. The Bills have a better defense, and their offense looks like it's capable of going point for point with the Cardinals should it come to that. So I'll go with Buffalo 35-31 over Arizona. Up next, we got the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Could this be a playoff preview? Because if the season ended today, these two teams would go head-to-head in the first round. Now, the Seahawks have been trending downward over the last 3 weeks, and the Rams have been a roller coaster ever since week 3. They've had one good game, followed by one bad game. Since their last game was a bad game, that would lead you to believe that this is going to be a good game. And the Seahawks aren't showing any signs of improving on defense, so I'm going with LA 34-31 over Seattle. Up next, we got the San Francisco 49ers and the New Orleans Saints. Now, these are two teams trending in opposite directions. The Niners are watching their playoff hopes slowly slip away, and the Saints, what I saw from the Saints last week is exactly what I've been looking for since week 1, and that just goes to show you how important Michael Thomas is to this team. Now, with Michael Thomas on the team, the Saints just look like an offensive juggernaut, and even their defense got a jolt, holding an offense as powerful as the Bucs to only 3 points. Now, from what I've seen so far, the Niners don't have the facilities to stop the juggernaut that is a healthy Saints offense, so I'm rolling with Nolans here, 38-21, Saints winning. Up next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are in the same boat as the Bucs are. They had a less than desirable game last week, and now not only do they need to beat the Bengals, they need to beat them soundly. Because the Bengals might be a 2-win team, sure, but they could easily beat the Steelers if Pittsburgh plays like they did last week. The counter, though, the Steelers have beaten the Bengals 10 times in a row, so one would think they'd have a mental advantage here. So if the Steelers can open up with a solid first quarter, that would put them in the Bengals' head, or at least you might think so. Now, it's going to be closer than you think, but I'm going with Pittsburgh 24-20 over Cincinnati. And now we got our Sunday night game. This week we got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the New England Patriots. This one's pretty straightforward. The Ravens look like a playoff contender. On the other hand, we as a country are mentally preparing ourselves for the inevitability that is a playoffs without the Patriots. The only advantage the Patriots have, and I never thought I'd say this in my life, is that they look like a trap game for the Ravens since Baltimore has a playoff rematch with the Titans next week. Now still, this Ravens team is going into Foxborough with some demons they need to exercise, so that shouldn't be too much of a factor. In conclusion, Baltimore rolls in this one 38-10 over New England. And last but not least, we got our Monday night game. This week we got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. This one's pretty tricky to decipher. On the one hand, the Vikings are looking like the Vikings team that we thought they would be going into the season. The question, though, is it too late? Only time will tell. But even with the recent success, there is still the narrative that Kirk Cousins doesn't perform well in primetime, which keeps this from being open and shut. Yes, on paper, Dalvin Cook could run on the Bears, but the question is, can the Bears offense do anything against the Vikings? Considering the Vikings rank 30th in pass defense, 25th in scoring, and 29th in total defense, it isn't exactly out of the question. I went back and forth on this a lot, but at the end of the day, I think I'll go with Chicago 21-17 over Minnesota. Well, that's my picks. Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, I'm Stats with Evan, and I hope you have a 100% day. Enjoy the games, y'all.